hope you didn't forget about me. Because I'm still here. I just come around when it's necessary. I don't have to be here all the time like some other people I know. Stephanie, Triple H, I'm talking to you. Fact is, Vince, I don't abide by what you have to say. I don't care what your daughter has to say. I don't care what your son-in-law has to say. I am not your employee. I am a stockholder in your company. It is like I said last time, Vince. I'm formally employed by your competition, or by another company. But I'm free, Vince. I don't have a contract with that company anymore. I'm a free agent, Vince. And I can tell you this much, that the road to WrestleMania will have me in it. Because once you hit that specific day in April, once that night that all of us have been looking forward to since WrestleMania 30 begins, you will have a special surprise from me to you at WrestleMania. Because Vince, the time is almost here. I'm getting tired of laying in the shadows, Vince. Soon you will find out who has been hacking you. Soon everyone will know who has been hacking Vince McMahon. And what I'm gonna do when you find out who I am. See you soon, Vince. It's right around the corner. Till then, I'll be watching, Vince.
Welcome to another edition of Let's Play WWE 2015. We are now approaching the biggest event of WWE's calendar year, as we are 1 month away from WrestleMania 31, live from Levi Stadium in California. As things will continue, and things will, how do I say this? As plans continue to take shape and WrestleMania continues to draw closer, we will see most, if not all, of the matches for WrestleMania be made before the big event in 1 month's time in the first week in April. Until then, we have a few shows left and a few big twists and turns that you won't want to miss. I also realize that this is the first time in a while that we are back with another edition of WWE, of Let's Play WWE, but hopefully I won't get sidetracked, and we will get to WrestleMania very soon. So with that being said, let's jump into the first let's jump into tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. I will also say this, that in 2 weeks' time, well, let me hold that up first. Let me hold that up till the end of the show. The pre-show kicks off with Zack Ryder going up against Brett Pyle, and Zack gets the win, something that has been hard to come by for Zack Ryder since the start of 2015. And then we move forward as Carlito and Lucky Cannon collide in the second of 2 pre-show matches tonight. Unfortunately, due to I guess connection issues, Carlito and Lucky Cannon were not able to get on the same level and just did not click in the match, and it showed in the performance, as you can see with the match getting its 26 final rating. Raw kicks off with the former Intercontinental Champion and former UFC Champion Ken Shamrock coming out here and talking for the first time on Monday Night Raw since his return a few weeks ago, attacking Kurt Angle to end Monday Night Raw a few weeks before Fastlane. But now Shamrock is here, and he talks about how Kurt Angle may be an Olympian, but he was never UFC champion like him. And before long, Kurt Angle makes his presence felt and interrupts Ken Shamrock and tells Ken Shamrock that he must have forgotten that this isn't the UFC, this is the WWE, and we don't just talk, we fight. And if you want to fight, you don't have to ask. I'm willing to fight anyone, anytime, anywhere. So just tell me the tell me the day, tell me the place, tell me where, tell me when, just tell me and you got it. Before Angle bursts the gasket, in comes Hunter, and Hunter makes the announcement that this Monday night on Raw, tonight on Raw, Kurt Angle will compete in a match chosen by Ken Shamrock. And Ken Shamrock will compete on SmackDown in a match chosen by Kurt Angle. That's right, Kurt Angle and Ken Shamrock are doing the age-old thing of pick your poison. And then we head to the first match of the show, and it is Dolph Ziggler against Rusev, and Ziggler defeats Rusev with help from Rob Van Dam. That's correct, the feud between RVD and the League of Nations is just getting started, and it ain't over yet. Now we head backstage, and Jericho, since he can't be with Hunter, he finds Stephanie. And Hunter and Stephanie and Chris Jericho are talking about Chris's problems over the past month or so with the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. And Stephanie mentions that maybe Chris is afraid of Samoa Joe because Samoa Joe is unlike anything Chris has seen in his WWE career. And Chris says, I'm not afraid of anyone. I'm the best in the world at what I do, and I've proven it since I came back. You know what, Chris? You're right. You are the best in the world. But maybe you need to prove it again, because this time coming back has done nothing more than soak up a spot for somebody who actually deserves it, because what have you done since you returned? Sit on the sidelines and plead with the next generation to take you down and take your spot? to show that you can actually stop coming back and know that this company is in good hands? Well, Chris, Joe answered your call. Joe answered your call, and you maybe need to answer it back. Because right now, Chris, you need somebody like Samoa Joe to give you a test, because I don't think you have it anymore. And Stephanie just walks away saying she needs to do some work, and that Chris has some thinking to do. And now we head back to the ring as Roman Reigns has a microphone and is talking about how he's talking about his critics. And you know something? I'd sit down with Roman and we'd do the promo together, mostly going with bullet points, but we'd go through it together, me giving my point of view of what his promo should be like, him giving me his point of view, and us agreeing on what his promo should be like. Basically, his promo would be telling his critics whether they like it or they don't like it. It don't matter, because either way, come WrestleMania 31, not only is he getting a world title shot, not only will he be in the main event of WrestleMania, but he will walk out the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and there is nothing anyone can do about it. A little side note, I just want to know, let me know down in the comment section below, do you prefer me doing promos or me going over promos in the third person or me going over promos in the first person? Let me know down below what you prefer, and that's how I will try and do most, if every promo, or if there are particular promos you want me to do in first person and particular promos you want me to do in third, let me know down in the comment section. So now we move forward as Roman Reigns goes up against Victor. Why Victor? Because Roman needs to compete going into WrestleMania. It doesn't really matter who he's going against. It doesn't really matter. And now we move forward as we brush back to last week when Cody Rhodes, or Stardust rather, officially turned his back on his brother and attacked Goldust following their loss to the Primetime Players. And now Goldust is calling out his brother for an explanation. But unfortunately, Goldust, I guess you could say challenge or request, is left unanswered as Stardust does not respond, but somebody else does. And that somebody else who responds is Ted DiBiase. And Ted DiBiase basically comes out and runs down Goldust's career and runs down Goldust's family, and saying that Stardust was right. Stardust was right to turn his back on you because you are nothing but a joke. You are nothing but a comedy act. And these people may be telling you you still got it, but you never had it to begin with. You're lucky that your brother was willing to stay with you as long as he was, because if I was him, I would have dropped you a long time ago. Because you should be grateful that you, Goldust, should be the one who feels guilty. Not Cody, not Stardust, because you held back Stardust. You stopped him from being himself because he felt bad for you. And then Teddy just slaps Goldust right in the face, and that leads to an impromptu contest between Goldust and Ted DiBiase, and of course, Goldie gets the win against Stardust's former Legacy Tag Team partner. And then we move to a video package highlighting what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, including the announcement that at WrestleMania 31, you will see Paige versus AJ in a loser leaves match. The winner will remain in the WWE, but the loser will be gone for good from WWE, because this rivalry has gotten so tense, so heated, that there needs to be a way to settle it where only one of them is left in the WWE, because both women can't remain together in the same company because they hate each other that much. And now, much like his promo earlier tonight, Kurt Angle talks down to the accomplishments of Ken Shamrock because he attributes Shamrock's return and his attack of Kurt Angle to jealousy. He attributes it to jealousy. He attributes it to the fact that Ken Shamrock never achieved half of what he achieved in his career with the WWE, and the fact that just as Kurt Angle was achieving success in the WWE, just as Kurt Angle started to climb the proverbial ladder in this company, that's when Ken Shamrock's career started nosediving, and when Ken Shamrock had to retire from the WWE before dream matches could have came to be, like a dream match with Kurt Angle, like a dream match with Chris Benoit, like a dream match with Chris Jericho, like a dream match with Eddie Guerrero. Like any of those dream matches, before those came to be, Ken Shamrock was out of the WWE. And that is why Ken Shamrock is back, because he's jealous of Kurt Angle. And speaking of Kurt Angle, Ken Shamrock's Picture Poison was Kurt Angle versus Tyler Breeze. And of course, Kurt Angle sends Prince Pretty back to where he came from. And Kurt is victorious in his match tonight. And now we head to Michael Cole and his cohorts as they discuss the Intercontinental title picture as Dean Ambrose and Dean Ambrose's problems over the past couple of months with The Miz and Alex Riley. Because right now, right after that, The Miz comes down to the ring and issues an open challenge to anybody back in the backstage area to face him in the ring for his Intercontinental title, as he is out to prove once and for all that he is indeed the greatest, the most must-see Intercontinental Champion in WWE history. And the man who accepts his challenge is the Darewolf, Justin Gabriel, because as I mentioned previously, all the matches that Gabriel has been winning recently would eventually net him an Intercontinental title shot, and that's exactly what happened. But The Miz did in fact win via underhanded tactics, leading to the question, well, is Miz the most must-see champion? If you ask JBL, yes. Asking Byron and Michael Cole, the answer would probably be no. But this, in my opinion, and the actual reason why I did it, it leaves the door open for possibilities in the future. Now we head backstage as Paige wishes Natty luck in her match tonight against Naomi, because as Paige says, that it would be more satisfying for her to beat Natalya than to beat Naomi, because she could beat Naomi no problem. At least beating Natalya, it would be a tougher test. Because when she beats AJ at WrestleMania and sends AJ out of the WWE for good, she wants her shot at the WWE Divas title. Now we head back out to the ring as we get a promo from the Destroyers of the Era of Attitude, the Princes of Positivity, the New Day. And this is how what I said as their nicknames is actually how Xavier Woods would introduce them. And then you have Kofi come on the mic and say something to the effect of, with the fact that now that era of Attitude is behind us, it is officially time for us to welcome the new day. And it's officially time for each and every one of you to accept that this era, this tonight, starts a new day. Because we are on the hunt for the WWE Tag Team titles, because it seems to us that nobody is capable of beating Cesaro and Kid. But that's because Cesaro and Kid has never versed the New Day. And they go into tag team action against the Motor City Machine Guns as Big E defeats Alex Shelley. And yes, my friends, this is the start of somewhat of a tag team tournament. I'm not going to officially call it a tag team tournament, but if teams could string a couple of wins together over the next couple of weeks, it is very likely that that is the team you will see come WrestleMania challenging for the WWE Tag Team titles against Cesaro and Kid in Levi Stadium. So this is basically the start of New Day's pursuit for the WWE World Tag Team titles. And now, before the next match, Nikki Bella joins Byron, Michael Cole, and JBL on commentary for the WWE Divas title match, as Naomi tries to prove why this division should not only have tunnel vision as far as the four divas who have basically been the main focus of the division since the start of 2015. Yes, Naomi comes up short against Natalya, but you'd have to blame the diva who came down on commentary, that being Nikki Bella, because she cost Naomi the match by distracting her and allowing Natalya to pick up the win via the sharpshooter. And this leads to a post-match beatdown by Nikki. I'm not saying that Naomi's back up. I'm saying that after Natalya leaves the ring, Nikki is at ringside still, and then jumps in the ring and pounces on Naomi, beating her down and attacking her and keeping her, I guess you could say, sending a message to Naomi that maybe the good luck she gave to Naomi on SmackDown was actually quite insincere. And now we head back to Michael Cole and his cohorts as they talk up the rivalry, the heated rivalry that has magnified over the last couple of weeks between Daniel Bryan, our Team Hell No MVP, and the Wyatt family. As now we head backstage with Daniel Bryan standing by with Renee Young, as Renee asks if Daniel is nervous since the Wyatts were able to take out his tag team partners, MVP and Kane, last week on SmackDown. And Daniel says, Renee, they may have taken out Kane and MVP. They may have attacked me and roughed me up a little bit. But just like MVP and Kane, I came back. And yes, you may be looking around and saying, they're not back. Where are they? Kane and MVP, you'll see them on SmackDown. Because Wyatts, we are not going down without a fight. And you think that one attack or one beatdown is going to be enough for us. boy oh boy, you're in for a surprise. You're in for a big surprise. Now we head back to the ring as Randy Orton is back in the ring tonight as he goes against Bobby Lashley and gets the victory as we build towards Randy Orton's match at WrestleMania against Seth Rollins. Yes, I know in no uncertain terms the match has yet to be announced, but it doesn't take a brain surgeon to see that's where I'm heading. We head back to Michael Cole and his cohorts one more time as they put over the fact that Ken Shamrock will face Christian this Thursday night on SmackDown as the graphic flashes up to show that the person that Kurt Angle picked to face Ken Shamrock is his longtime friend, Christian. And that match will take place this Thursday night on SmackDown. And now, as you remember, and as I mentioned earlier tonight, the random mid-card match, or the random match that usually sees people who aren't normally used get a win, that usually includes Justin Gabriel, this week actually includes R-Truth, and Truth is up against Brad Maddox, because I never liked Maddox as a general manager, and I thought, well, if I'm not going to use him as a general manager, why not just use him as a wrestler, because he's actually a decent wrestler. So that's where we are with Brad Maddox, and I figured, well, R-Truth could use some wins, so why not? Now we go backstage, and Goldust is found talking to somebody backstage. We don't know who it is, but we know he's on his cell phone talking to somebody, and from what we hear, that someone will be live on Monday Night Raw next week. And for you to find out who it is, you have to tune into Raw next week to find out. Now we head to, and as Goldust walks out of the camera shot, we turn around and scratch that. We move to a different place backstage to find Darren Young and Titus O'Neil talking about this how this is their perfect opportunity to get their chance to face Cesaro and Kidd at WrestleMania. But just as they say that, the Usos walk into the camera shot and tell the primetime players that in their minds they may be worth millions of dollars, and that in their minds they may be going to WrestleMania. But they're wrong about one of those things, because the Usos are the ones going to WrestleMania, not the primetime players. And then Darren Young says, "We'll see next week, won't we? Because we'll see on SmackDown, rather, won't we? Because the primetime players will be going up against the Usos this Thursday night on SmackDown." And now, to explain this, well, you'll find out. Maybe things will be a little bit more clearer once you get the whole picture of the show, because as you heard earlier, the hacker is back, and Vince ain't happy, and neither is Stephanie and Triple H, because they are saying that Mr. McMahon will be here next Monday night on Raw to address what the hacker said in his interruption earlier tonight. And here's when the announcers put over what we just heard from Stephanie and Triple H, that Vince McMahon will be live on Monday Night Raw next week on the program. And much like earlier tonight, when we saw Randy Orton go up against Bobby Lashley, this match is basically the same, is for the same reason as over the past couple months, Seth Rollins has very rarely been seen in action. He's been seen in promos, but very rarely in action. So it was basically to change things up a little bit, and also, once again, continue the build to WrestleMania. But also following that match, not only was that match for Seth Rollins, but it was also to take Ric Flair and Joe Hennig's partnership in a different direction, because following the match, Ric Flair officially dumps Joe Hennig and calls Joe Hennig an embarrassment to his family name, and says no wonder why they gave you the name Michael McGillicuddy. So the partnership between Flair and Joe Hennig has officially dissolved, as Flair is ready to take his services elsewhere, away from Joe Hennig. And now we move to the typical Wyatt family promo, where the Wyatts come up on the Titantron in their secret room or whatever. And much like every other Wyatt family promo, Bray has complete control, so there really is not much that I can say about this promo. The only thing I'll say about this promo is Cena says that Kevin Owens feels Cena is holding people down. Cena said that he isn't holding anybody down. It's just that the future has to get through him, because he is WWE. And then we head to what is the main event of the evening tonight. John Cena goes up against Mark Henry. Yes, I'm well aware, maybe putting John Cena against Tyler Breeze instead of putting Kurt Angle against Tyler Breeze would have been better, and maybe putting Kurt Angle against Mark Henry, because the extent of John Cena's feud with Kevin Owens is that Kevin Owens feels that John Cena's time at the top is over, and it's time for somebody to take his spot by force if Cena doesn't want to hand it over willingly. So basically the underlying aspect of Cena's feud is the New Age is sick and tired of seeing Cena on top, and him versus Mark Henry really defeats the purpose of the New Age. But either way, our final rating is a 75, and that show actually increased our popularity in 19 regions and did not touch or negatively affect our popularity in any way, which at this point is actually normal for an episode of Raw. But now, if only I could say the same thing for an episode of SmackDown. But unfortunately, I can't seem to say that. So I will say this before I close the book on another episode, that only 3 matches are known for WrestleMania, and that is Paige versus AJ in a loser leaves match, Cena versus Kevin Owens, and Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I don't remember if I announced Samoa Joe versus Chris Jericho for WrestleMania just yet, and I know I did not mention Seth Rollins, officially announced Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton, but like I mentioned earlier, you could probably see that's where we're going. So, if you liked the video, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find right here at Wrestling Express. Till next time, see you on SmackDown. Later.